ever becoming Nigeria's president. Speaking with a Nigerian Tribune reporter and other selected journalists at the Igadugara Palace during a media section to mark his 82nd birthday and 22 years on the throne, the monarch stated that destiny would not favor Atiku, who was the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) in 2023 general election and has made several attempts to occupy the nation's highest office. He noted that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's rise to power was divinely ordained and urged Nigerians to support him in achieving his vision for the country. The future belongs to God, but let me say it plainly. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar will never be president of Nigeria. Tinubu is compassionate and visionary, who will have believed he will become the president. He presented his certificate to me first after winning. Lagosians and Nigerians should support him to fulfill God's purpose for the country. Reflecting on his relationship with the president, he recalled predicting Tinubu's eventual emergence as the president shortly after becoming Oba in 2023, expressing confidence that the president will complete his tenure successfully. He said, I'm not a politician, but I always tell the politicians, don't fight. They only disagree. God deliberately chose Bola Ahmed Tinubu for Nigeria on May 23, 2023, on the day I received my certificate of office. I told God that Tinubu one day will be the president. He made Lagos proud, and he will complete his term by God's grace. Everything in life has ended. Only God gives longevity. For more details, check the Nigerian Tribune this morning.
Well, interesting times in the political arena, but I feel it's just better that the traditional institution leave the politics for politicians. Let them play their game, be a father to run. Statements that could be assertive for closing the political destiny of another should, to my mind, should really
I think I agree with you. So, coming out as a traditional ruler, coming out emphatically to say, because you are not even God. This function of destiny and fate lies in the hand of God. It's God that determines that. So coming out to now say that that destiny will not favor him, I don't quite agree with him, on that. But it's up to him. He's entitled to his opinion, if we must put it that way.
Well, but everything happens either as a lesson or as a blessing. In this instance, I think we owe it a duty to society to emphatically state that traditional rulers must stay within the ambit of what they are.
Obviously, of course.
Traditional royal fathers.
Royal fathers.
So they must be father to all. They must be fathers to all, yes. Irrespective of political affiliation. In any case, there is no community that does not have members of the PDP, members of the ABC, members of the ABC, members of whatever name the party is called. And so the best way to engender peaceful cohesion and coexistence should be to be a father to everyone.
Yes,
I think it's a lesson that every other traditional ruler must learn. Divisive tendencies and all of these political expansionist tendencies, even when even in your own words say you're not a politician, then leave politics for politicians and let things just be. But still talking politics, in the Vanguard newspaper, Ajadi resigns from NNPP, joins PDP. Let's check this. Nigerian politician, businessman, and social reform advocate, Ambassador Olufemi Ajadi Oguntoyinbo, has resigned from the new Nigeria People's Party (NNPP) and joined the People's Democratic Party (PDP), describing the move as a strategic and patriotic step toward rebuilding Nigeria's unity and hope. Ajadi announced his resignation on Monday during a press briefing where he presented copies of his resignation letter to journalists. The letter was addressed to the NNPP World Chairman, the Obafemi Owode Local Government Chairman, the Ogun State Chairman, the Southwest Chairman, and the National Chairman of the party. Details you find in the Vanguard newspaper of this morning.
Now, still on Nigerian Tribune, and I take this security story, terror deaths in Nigeria declined by 81% coming from the presidency. The presidency says Nigeria has recorded an 81% reduction in terror-related deaths since 2015, attributing the decline to improved counter-insurgency operations and stronger collaboration between security agencies and affected communities. In a statement posted on its official X account on Sunday, the president said More than 13,000 terrorists have been neutralized in the past year, while over 124,000 fighters and their dependents have surrendered to authorities. It added that more than 2.1 million internal displaced persons have returned home, with reconstruction efforts ongoing in previously affected communities under the federal government resettlement scheme for persons impacted by conflict. Since 2023, the federal government of Nigeria, through enhanced interagency cooperation, has vigorously pursued, arrested, eliminated, or successfully convicted terrorists and insurgents, especially those responsible for some of the most heinous attacks on Nigerian territory. The statement read, according to the presidency, over 124 terrorists and insurgents have been convicted since 2024, while others, including members of the Osrc leadership and suspects linked to the 2022 Owo church bombing and the Yelweta Benue reprisal attack, are currently facing trial. As of 2025, Nigeria has witnessed an 81% decrease in terror-related deaths since 2015, a pointer to enhanced counter-insurgents operation and better collaboration between our national security architecture which affected communities. Over 13,000 terrorists have been neutralized in the past years, and over 124 fighters and dependents have surrendered to authority, the statement added. For details, you may want to check Nigerian Tribune this morning.
Well, let's check some more stories this morning. Let's see from the economic angle what's going on in Nigeria. FG exceeds 2025 borrowing target by 55.6%. Borrows 17.4 trillion naira in 10 months as domestic borrowing escalates. The federal government has borrowed 17.36 trillion naira from domestic and foreign sources in the first 10 months of this year. This represents 6.06 trillion naira, that is 55.6% in excess of the 10.9 trillion naira stipulated in the 2025 Appropriation Act on 10 months pro-rate basis. The total borrowing in 2025 approved budget is 13.08 trillion naira for the entire fiscal year. The breakdown of the 2025 borrowing so far shows a 15.8 trillion naira from domestic sources as of October 2025 and 1.56 trillion naira from the external sources as at first half of 2025. Meanwhile, the FG, that is the federal government, last week initiated moves to borrow $2.35 billion, that is 3.384 trillion naira, via the Eurobond issuance. These would increase the total borrowing to 20.74 trillion naira. Details of this breakdown you'll find in the Vanguard newspaper of this morning.
Okay, from there we move to the Hope newspaper, and I'm taking this from the home front. Osrc moves to enlist Rukipo into contributory pension scheme. The Ondo State Pension Commission, Osrc, has commenced move to onboard the Rufus-Giwa Polytechnic Owo into the state contributory pension scheme as part of ongoing efforts to ensure sustainable pension management and timely benefits for public workers. Speaking during a sensitization exercise held at the institution on Tuesday, the Director General of the Commission, Mr. Babatunde Adefusi Owate, said the visit became necessary to educate staff on the workings of the schemes and addressing lingering concerns about implementation. This visit is not to compel anyone, but to sensitize and prepare you for the eventual transition. The contributory pension scheme ensures that no worker will retire into hardship again, he said. Adefusi Owate said the newly contributory scheme was structured to ensure that both the employer and the employee contribute jointly to each worker's retirement savings account, which is managed by the Licensed Pension Fund Administrators, PFAs. It guarantees that funds deducted from your salary or properly remitted, managed transparently, and invested for your future. The system is safer and more reliable than the old one. He explained that the contributory pension scheme was introduced to guarantee the workers receive their benefit as well as at when due, without depending solely on the government's subvention, adding that the system was designed to be transparent, portable, and sustainable. If you are interested in the details, check the Hope newspaper.
All right, before we close shop, let's Let me also go to the opening paper with you and check the story from the home front. Ondo targets 300 million liter water daily as Owena Dam is back. Let's check out details. The Ondo State government has intensified efforts to improve access to safe water, sanitation and hygiene across all communities with a bold target to raise access levels from the current 38% to 70%. Commissioner for Water Resources, Public Sanitation and Hygiene, Ayodele Akonde, disclosed this in an interview with the Hope, where he reaffirmed the state's commitment to delivering sustainable and community-owned wash initiatives. According to him, the ongoing rehabilitation of the Owena multi-purpose dam will play a pivotal role in achieving this goal, as the facility is designed to deliver 300 million metric liters of potable water daily upon completion. Details you find in the Hope newspaper of this morning. And with that, we place a wrap on these aspects of checking stories, making headlines national dailies. When we return, it will be time for the conversations this morning surrounding issues of national development, democracy, and the well-being of every citizen. Please stay with us. We'll be right back. right, welcome back, everyone. Our first conversation this morning will be centering on cyber safety and digital responsibility in a very highly connected world that we're in at this point. And joining us in the conversation is a gentleman from the Department of Forestry and Wood Technology, Federal University of Technology, Akure Futa, Tohid Kolade. Thank you so much for joining us on the air today.
Thank you. Good morning.
I do understand that the concept of global village is no longer a concept but a reality.
Yes, it is.
And so it's a highly connected world we live in.
Yeah.
Well, the convention says it all. There's a need for responsibility digitally. But
Yeah.
how do we navigate the murky waters of the interconnectivity that at every point in time breeds irresponsibility in the way and manner we use technology?
Sure. Good morning. Thank you. So to start with, the internet now is a global village.
Very
You and I live on the same street. That's what I see. That's what I say to people when I read conversations like this. We live on the same street. We live in the same house. Because before you can say, oh, you are from Nigeria, another person is from Tanzania, another person is from, let's say, you can even narrow it down like Abuja, Lagos, all of that. But when it comes to the internet, we are all living on the same street. Is either you are living on Mark Zuckerberg Street or you are living on Elon Musk Street. That's Twitter or Instagram or any of these meta apps. So that's the same thing. We are all living on the same space. It is easy to be found. It is easy to be seen in all of these spaces. It is easy to stand unique. But at the same time, it is easy to remain a mediocre. But now, how we navigate all of these things on the internet is left to you. It's left to your personal ways. Left to your how you address these things. It's left to how you see these things, because a lot of people see it as a leverage they could use to grow. Now people see it as a place to showcase themselves, to put what they do outside there, to show what they can offer, to show their uniqueness. Because now, if you are living in the same environment, if you are living on the same street, that's about 7 to 8 billion people living with you. What makes you stand out? That's what you do. But other people, they are using it as an advantage to show their stupidity as well, because there are pros and cons that comes with all of these things. There's either a right or wrong, but there are pros and cons. There's either you use it or how you don't use it. But you have to be responsible in how you do all these things. Let's say,
how do we get responsible in the use of the internet, especially the social media platforms that guarantees this interconnectivity on a daily basis?
Okay, let's say let's put an analogy like let's use our normal environment. Let's leave the internet for a second. Being a Nigerian, you have to be a responsible Nigerian. You don't go about littering the street. I walked in here, I didn't drop a bottle on the street. I didn't come here and disrespect anybody. You don't come here and talk to anybody anyhow. You abide by the laws and the principles that guides a workspace, that guides an environment, that even guide the country as its own. Same thing applies to the internet. Although these things might not be really written, you might say it's an unwritten rule, but these things are actually there. These things are actually there because you have to transfer being responsible as a person. It is your personal will, it is you being responsible. A lot of people that are not responsible go out there and do irresponsible things. But if you look at their real life outside of the internet, they are irresponsible most of the time. They don't watch what they post, they don't watch where they sit, they don't watch where they associate, they don't watch the kind of people they talk to, they don't watch the kind of people that they have conversations with, they don't even watch the kind of people that they are seen with. They don't even watch their environment. You see them, maybe they are tattered, they might be smelly, they might be irresponsible, grossly irresponsible, that word. They will be irresponsible on the internet because nothing guides them. Their personal will, their personal conviction is towards that area. So when you're a good person, you tend to bring all of your responsibility to that place. When I walked in, you greet people professionally, you greet them respectfully. So when you meet people on the internet, now it's a global world. Let's go back to the internet. It's a global world. It's the same street.
So the responsibility offline also comes.
Yes, it
online.
comes. Yes, it comes online.
If you are not responsible offline, you cannot be responsible.
It will
online.
be very difficult for you to be responsible
very difficult.
because you have to be responsible as a person. Let's say, real life, I might not have met the president of Nigeria, but I could actually talk to him on the internet. I could meet him on the internet. He can post on Twitter, on Instagram, and I can reply. And God says, maybe, what if he replies? Maybe they are having a session and they have screen questions. I could speak to him. So the internet is now a leveler that you can meet people that you might not be able to meet in their day-to-day activities. Without internet, we might not even be able to sit here to stream all of these things. So you can meet with people that you have not seen, that you don't get to see. But if you are not responsible towards your fellow human being in real life, you don't even know who is who. you see somebody drop a post and you insult them, like get out there. You know how people can actually do all of these things on the internet. In real life, they can do it there. You might be driving around on your street and maybe anybody can insult you, like back well, all of this. There's a way that comes with all of this thing. It's the same thing like where you are online. You might even be going about your business. You can actually post a picture maybe of your family, then once somebody from nowhere will just come and start attacking your family. They might even tell you, oh, that picture is not fine. Is that your picture to start with? So those kind of people, they are not responsible as a person on their own, because it transfers to being a responsible person in real life. So all of these things are actually connected because it's you as a person.
Okay, let's look at it from this point.
Okay.
There is a saying that any society where discipline is absolute, is an indiscipline is absolute, is an irresponsible society.
Yeah, sure.
So who should now be regulating and moderating the internet space, particularly the social media?
Okay.
Who should come in that regard?
So there are people that comes in that regard. There's a space for law. Then there's a space for the policies that guides those social media's account. So those are the two people, aside you being a good person on your own. So let's say Nigeria has anti-cyberbully laws, all of that. If you bully somebody online, they can sue you, they can take you to court, and if they win, it's a big case against you. So let's say somebody is going about their business and you're insulting them, you are bullying them, you're harassing them on the internet, you're stalking them, they can file a charge against you in that country, in that state, anyway. But there are policies that also guide these places. Let's say if somebody is impersonating you on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, or anywhere, you can actually report those accounts that these people are impersonating me with evidence. They will take it down. If they are bullying you, you can report it. If they are posting contents that are not even, they are not supposed to be in the media space, if they are posting horrible content, you can report those content that they are inappropriate. That's why some of these things might be rated 18. You can post it that there was no disclaimer
So
there.
is there any way the tech companies now can come in beyond reporting to the point of restricting, or when it comes to cyberbullying, so these days the Nigerians they call it banter.
Yeah, sure.
Attacking one another, cyber stalking, online theft, you understand?
Yeah,
so
sure.
how can the tech company come in to restrict and regulate all of these?
Yeah. I think I come in there to also add that, many of these social media platforms, they have what they call community guidelines.
Yeah, of course.
How guiding are these guidelines? I think that's what.
Yeah, I understand, and I understand this point. So when it comes to these guidelines and how guiding these guidelines are, it is left to the developers and to the body that govern these social media spaces. I'm not going to do Elon Musk's job for him. Okay. Those are the reasons why you have those things there. Maybe some people are not aware that these community guidelines are there. But if you are aware that these community guidelines are there, if you report those accounts, maybe one or two people, they will take it down. If you have a Facebook account and it doesn't look like you, they will tell you to authenticate, so that you don't come around and start impersonating somebody.
I think the concern is at the point of asking if it is entirely dependent on independent user reporting an irresponsible post. How about all of these platforms also staying true to their own community guidelines?
I think to an extent they are. It depends on how you see it, but to an extent some of these social media platforms, they're actually staying true to these guidelines. Even some, you don't even have to report some. You might post something and Instagram might flag it as inappropriate on its own, like it is there, the policies are there. You might post something on Twitter and they will shadow ban you, your reach will be limited.
Okay.
If you post something on Facebook and it is not really it doesn't align with their policies, they will shadow ban. These things happen to people that are now using even TikTok, I guess. Because I've seen reports sometimes like, oh, you have to be careful on TikTok, they are strict, they will take down my account even before people start reporting you. They might take you down if you post things that are inappropriate, in line with their community guidelines, in line with their policies. So these bodies, I think they are trying to do what they want to do. But at the same time, there's still freedom of speech. I think one of the reasons why Elon Musk bought Twitter was because of the freedom of speech. Jack Dorsey was restricting a lot of speech freedom. I think that was why the president of the United States was even taking off Twitter at some point. But when Elon Musk came in, he said he wanted to give people the freedom of speech. But to an extent, I think they are still doing something around that. But you can't police these organizations, these social medias beyond their own community guidelines. If somebody bully you online, and you report and you think they are not taking it
Seriously,
upright,
okay.
if they are not taking it seriously, you can't go on with a suit in your country. You can sue that person as well.
Using the cyber.
Yeah, cyberbullying act. So if you pull all of these things together, I think we might actually, if people are well educated about this, we might actually have a responsible social media moving forward. But there's no way you can police what human beings use. To an extent, there's a limit to all of these things. If you give people too much free will, they tend to misuse it. So all of these things come with its pros and cons. If you want to be on the social media, if you want to use all of these things, you have to understand that, okay, the pros are there, but the cons will come. Are you strong enough to take all of this? But at some point, even if you now sue somebody, they might even start labeling you like, oh, he's an oppressor, he's trying to do this, he's trying to do that. So there are some times that you might want to let him slide. It's left to you, but can you take all of this? People that are in the Nollywood industry, they use it to promote their movies. But at the same time, are they willing to let people say their mind? Some people will still insult like, your stuff is not up to what they want, it's bad, they have these things. But at the same time, it's working for you. So when you weigh the pros and the cons, it's left to you like, do I want to press charges? Do I just want to leave these people their truths? Maybe they might be helping your algorithm regardless. They might be promoting it. People that want to see it are saying it. People get paid for using social media, people that post. So some people, they don't even care if it's bad engagement or good engagement. So those are the things that we have to look out for again. Some people don't even care if it is a bad engagement or it's a good engagement. As long as the numbers are there, Elon Musk will most likely pay, Mark Zuckerberg will most likely pay. See, they are monetizing. Some people will intentionally now post terrible content because there's an audience for it. Whatever that you see that is thriving anywhere, there's an audience that wants it. If people that are even posting pornography, there's an audience that wants it, but most of the people will not come out to publicly declare that they do it. So if anything is thriving, either good or bad, there's a demand for it.
Where then is the nexus, the meeting point, so to say, between the crave for followership, for increased algorithm, and all of these other things that follow the use of the social media, and responsibility in its use? Where do we strike the balance?
So I think most of that has to do with the person themselves. There are some,
because when you look at it,
Yeah.
If you look at the statistics, you find younger people more on this street than the older people. The older people perhaps are using it for business concerns,
Yeah, sure.
Conferences and all of those of them that are literate. So where can young people leave behind youth exuberances and all those other ephemeral things
Yeah,
and
yeah.
concentrate on responsible use of the social media?
So again, some of these things has to do with you as a person, but at the same time, some of these things has to do with some things that they see. There are some things that do not make sense, but as now look like they made sense in the sense of the social media used now these days. You know, yeah, like you said, the older people, the literate, they use it for business, they use it to network, but they use youth, they might misuse it, they post terrible things on there. They are going about dancing on TikTok, they are going on Instagram, doing whatever that they think they're doing. So that is where maybe if you have a kid, you might want to restrict. Because you look at the pros and the cons, like I said. Whatever that has a pro, definitely has a con. Whatever that has a right side, definitely has a left. So those are the things that you want to use because there are things that are actually now, they call something now a creator's economy. It doesn't really sit right with me because these things are, I think there are tools that are being used to derail the youths now, to focus on the things that actually matters, to focus on what it is that they should focus on, to focus on the process, to focus on their why. Because tell me why you see somebody, maybe an 18-year-old, is making millions of naira just from streaming his stupidity online. There are a lot of people that want to do it. Now, you go
Maybe we use a lighter word, frivolity.
Yeah, maybe their frivolity. Let's not
so
go
hard.
yeah. So, but they post all of those things. They stream their day-to-day life doing absolutely nothing, and yet that they are making millions. Some people, because what drives them is the money. They want to adopt. Now, you see some media houses, you see some organizations giving these people awards. Promoting them because let's say you see somebody that is a content creator that is sexualizing women and is getting awarded, and the person that is doing content that is educating is not getting it. So they want to switch because again, all of these people, most of them also for likes, comments, and engagement because that is what drives them. And it also comes down to your type of content. Let's say you're a mathematician. You definitely know that most of your audience are not on Twitter. So if you are posting on Twitter looking for engagement, you're wasting your time. Over time, you might have to do it, like, because if that is what you want, if the engagement is what you want, you might have to start posting what Twitter audience wants, because your audience are not on Twitter. The people that are really doing the mathematics, the people that are really studying physics, who are physicists, the nuclear physicists, they don't have the time to be on Twitter. They are either in the lab somewhere, locked up somewhere around the world, working on innovations on what could save the world or what could destroy the world. Anyway, but you don't look for them on Twitter. So let's say you now go on Twitter and you start posting those things. You should expect it to come with little engagement, because your real audience are not there. But when you go about and you post your frivolities, there are thousands, millions of your audience, they will jump at it. If you are doing educational content, maybe you are doing a good podcast. I have a friend that does good podcasts. His engagement are not high the roof, but the ones that are doing media, entertainment, gossip, they have their audience on there. So you have to look for where your audience is.
Absolutely. Do you think, and let's look at it from the point of view of parent now.
Yeah.
Holding the children accountable to be responsible online. In what way do you think they can come in to probably control these children from consuming online junks? Can parents come in this way?
Don't give them phone when they don't need one.
Don't give them
phones when they don't need one. Police their use of internet. Okay. Yes, okay, internet is good. There are billion informations on the internet.
So no matter how much money I have,
don't give them phone.
You don't give my kids.
Yes, you don't have to give them. Yes, because when you give anybody something, they overuse it.
Okay.
If tomorrow, let's say you start telling people wear this particular type of dress, they start wearing a slimmer one. They start overdoing it. When you tell people, okay, the reason why they made Twitter in the first place is not to share some content, maybe to have intellectual conversations, maybe to meet people, but can they police how it's being used anymore? So even aside social media, whatever you develop, you don't get to tell people how to use it anymore.
But when it comes to some children, we agree with the fact that the world is becoming a digital village, and somehow it's even getting into our education sector.
Yeah.
Children sometimes they need phone for assignment, for research, and so in that case, what do you do?
That's why I said don't give them phone where they don't need one. But that does not mean don't allow them use internet. Don't give them their personal phone. If you give a child their personal phone, maybe you have to police it to an extent. But if you give a kid that is not that
How
mature,
do we police?
You collect it from them when they don't need it. You make sure you set all these parental restrictions. You make sure that some website cannot be visited.
Okay.
When you give them their phone, it's mostly for educational content. You are there to supervise. It's better to even give them a tab. Like when you give them a tab, they know they cannot walk around with it. You know the kind of things that are on there. There's no TikTok on there to go there and do rubbish. Like, it's not as if they cannot learn something on TikTok, but what are the pros and cons? How many bad content are on TikTok compared to the good ones that they want to learn from? So if you want your kids to learn, maybe you want to sign them up for Mavis Beacon if it's still available. You want to sign them up for classes. You want to put them on places that they can see stuff. Maybe you want to post something. But you don't give them the phone and say, oh, that's your phone, and they go to bed with it. You don't know what they are doing at that point in time. They're still young. Let them work. Let them earn it. Maybe you put a policy like, okay, if you do this, I'll get you this one. Now, they want to achieve it. That's a reward-based system. And now, okay, if you finish your assignment on time, you get 1 hour to watch your favorite cartoon. Okay. Now, you said favorite cartoon, not like you get 1 hour to go and surf. If you give them the phone, they surf. There's too much thing that is available online now. You police their access. Okay. If you are done with all of the things that you want to do, okay, you have done your assignment, you have read your books, I'm satisfied. Yes, all we cannot play makes Jack a dull boy. You want them to have fun. What type of content do you want them to watch? Now you give them the time, okay, within 2 or 3, you collect it back, go back to bed, go and nap, whatever it is. So you have to police all of that, because if you don't, people will start teaching your kids, and you find out that you're not the one teaching them anymore. You find out that you're not the one they are looking up to. You're not the ones that are inspiring them. You're not the ones that is dictating how their life goes. I don't mean dictating in a terrible way, in a bad way, but they are kids. They are yours for a reason, and you have to guide them. But you find out that you are not the one doing that anymore, because the moment they see something going on there, they dance on TikTok, they want to do it. So those are the things that you can do to checkmate them, till most likely when they understand disciplines on their own, when they are a good person on their own. And all of this, some of these things comes off the internet as well. You can have conversations with them, regardless of their age. There are some conversations you can have with them. You can discuss with them, okay, these things are not good, these things are not bad, these things are not to be done, these things are not supposed to be. So even if they see it behind your back, the way they are being groomed, they know. And in advanced countries, there are kids that and in academies for footballs, even while they are young, all everything that surrounds them is football. Their rooms are used, they use football themes, they use big players. So kids waking up to see all of those things, okay, they want to be a footballer. You've spoken to them about this, you have taken them to places, they see successful footballers that have done it. They want to be there, they want to do all of those things. So, but when you don't restrict some of these things as a parent, when you don't teach them, it's a lot of it is not even online. You don't want another person to raise your kid for you.
Okay, sorry, I have to cut into your flow now because of our time. Now, let's leave responsibility now, online responsibility. Let's come to security. What does it mean to be cyber security conscious in this digital age?
Okay. Some of these big platforms, they are collecting our data. Everything about you and I are online now. Whether you like it or not, but there's a way you can police it, there's a way you can reduce it, there's a way you can use it to an extent. But most of your things are online there. So you have to be careful what you put online. They are selling, maybe not really sell, but there are people that leverage your data. If you go online and you watch a particular type of video 2 times, over time your timeline starts showing something like that.
Okay.
So those are the people that they want you to, let's say you buy a particular product, the companies are allowed to look into their data. So they understand like, okay, they want this, so they have shared with them.
Okay.
So they start suggesting things like that to you.
Okay.
So you have to be careful what you do or where you stay. At the same time, you have to protect your data. Aside the fact that one is yours, you have to put good passwords. Then you have to do all of this authentication, 2FA, two-factor authentication. It is important now. If you can store all of your keys, maybe cryptocurrency or whatever, offline, it is very important. Store them offline. You have to protect yourself from, you have to be able to recognize phishing emails. You have to be able to recognize them because they send it to you. You don't click on any damn emails, any damn link that you see. You have to be careful of all of those things because the moment you click, you lose a lot of your data.
Store your data offline. Does that put a question mark on the safety of cloud, for instance?
Cloud is safe, but it can be hacked. There's a pro and contra of this, like we said earlier. It is safe, but it can be hacked. They might not even hack you. What if they hack the organization as a whole? Although they are spending a lot of money to protect you, but what if they hack you?
Then what's now the place of the cyber security?
That's where these big organizations spend a lot of money so that they can protect them. Okay, like let's use our Nigerian context. Let's say some of these banks, they are paying hugely to make sure that things are safe. So that your money is safe, so that your data is safe, so that everything you are doing with your banks is safe. If the bank is not safe, you are most likely not going to bank with them. You most likely have millions of naira in your local bank that you can walk into than have it on all this microfinance bank, all this fintech, maybe OP or whatever, because there's a part of it that say understand the place of security when it comes to that aspect. So these organizations are spending a lot of money on cyber security to make sure that your data is protected. But now, will your bank take responsibility when somebody now calls you and you share your BVN and the OTP with them? That is where you come in as a person. If the organization is doing their best, then you have to do your best to secure yourself. Let's say any local bank, they spend a lot of money on cyber security to make sure you're safe. But will they take responsibility when you click on a phishing link that reveals your ATM info, or all these people now, these crime fraudsters that calls you like, oh, we want to send you some money, send us your ATM pin, send the back and front picture, whatever thing that they do, share your BVN with us, or you receive an OTP, send it back to us. We have heard countless stories about these things and how it worked. So that's where you are as a person. Your own cyber safety is in your hands too. When they are doing their part, you do your part.
But one thing is, your own cyber safety is in your hands, and you are not that enlightened or aware. So in your view, how aware are Nigerians, when it comes, particularly the youth, when it comes to online activities?
For the youth, I think they are well aware because they have seen firsthand of all of these things. I think most of the, I don't know, I don't have the data, but most of the people that are vulnerable to all of these scams, let's say sharing scams, can most likely be the grown, the very grown, that do not understand this. But for youth, they understand like, okay, you don't want to put all of these things out there. You don't want to have a picture of your ATM card, posting it online. You don't want to get your BVN and the next thing is taking a picture of it online. The youth are aware of all of these things. I think most of the youth, the ones that tech savvy, that are aware of the kind of age that we are in now. They understand their part to what they have to do. They understand that, okay, they have to have a password to their accounts, even banks. They have to have a 2FA to some of these things. And people that deal in cryptocurrency or whatever, they have to store their private keys offline, because those are the things that are very important. So they are aware, but we can still do more by educating people also. We can still do more. Let's say my parent gets phone, and it's in my place to tell them, like, do you know if you do this, you're going to lose that. So when all of us, we are investing in education like that, you're educating people, you see them like, oh, don't do that, you are going to compromise your data, all of that. They are going to be very careful. In fact, when something like that happens, you will see most parents run to their kids like, oh, something happened, I got a call, what do you think I should do? Don't reply. Because they know that, oh, you are more tech savvy than them, you understand the internet more than them. So they seek your guidance, they seek your counsel before they take one or two steps, one or two decisions when it comes to the tech space, when it comes to their data online. So that's where we can actually continue to educate people. Or maybe we can actually have institutions that goes to the market and educate people. Maybe the market women, the people that are not really tech savvy, but they are using all of these things. So you can tell them, oh, these are the things that you have to do to protect yourself from any attack or whatever, or data breach, because it is important. A lot of it rests on our shoulders as much as it rests on the organization's shoulders. They will take fault for their own flaws, but they won't take fault for yours. So you have to be responsible, because if they fail you, you are going to hold them accountable too. So you don't want to you don't want to be careless with what is in your own hands.
All right, as we place a wrap on this conversation, I'd like to know your view on the anti-cyberbullying law of the Nigerian state. Any reservation on that?
I think it's a good law, but even with the law, without the law, we know what the allies can do. They can even take advantage of it, and they will not even follow it. Normally, when things like this happen, you're supposed to be sued and taken to court. But we have seen moments like they don't even do that. They just arrest you, and they use police to intimidate you. So, if the law is going to be followed properly, then it's a good one. But we know this is
Before you go, in a way of parting short, what advice do you have for the youth, in trying to harness the internet space for national development?
For
the youth?
To the youth, the internet, the social media, anywhere you put your stuffs, that's a CV. That's your CV. I'll judge you. The world will judge you. Every person that sees it will judge you. So you want to be careful of what you post. You want to be careful of what you put out there. You want to be careful of things you say. You want to be careful of companies that you keep. Growing up, my mother would not allow me to hang out in particular places, because like you don't want to be there. Permit me to say about Mata being Larry, all of that. There are places that I know that it's forbidden for me to go to. Don't think there are no places like that online too. You don't want to belong in those circles. You don't want to belong in those circles, and you want to use this. The internet is a leveler. You never can tell. You can discuss with anybody, even that does not live in your country. The advantages are vast.
Thank you very much. Atoyi Kwalade, where we've been having this conversation on the issue of responsible use of the internet, especially in the highly connected world we now live in. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank
We'll take a break. When we return, we'll shift the gaze of our conversation to another issue of national importance. Please do stay with us, everyone. We'll be right back.
báyé ṣe lé. Àwọn òkùnkùn.
Welcome back, everyone. Let's go the way of religion. At this point in time, looking at the nexus between religion and democracy, what exactly are the roles that religion and religious organizations play in the entrenchment of democracy and good governance in our society? Joining us in this conversation is the President and General Overseer of the United Apostolic Church of Christ, UACC, Reverend Dr. James Bayo Wemi. Thank you very much for joining us on AM today.
Good morning.
I must say that
It's a pleasure to be here.
it's indeed delightsome to have the General Overseer join us on this program. Let's start from a general perspective. Nigeria is a secular state, very many religious practices, Christianity, Hinduism, and many other, Islam, traditional religion. But let's focus on your own area, Christianity. What roles, apart from vigils, apart from fasting and prayers, what patriotic roles is the Christian religion playing in sustaining national cohesion, prosperity, and development in Nigeria?
Yes, thank you so much. God is perfect in His planning. God made the world, He created the world. And He puts man in the world for man to take care of the world. So, at the beginning when God created man, He had earlier created the Garden of Eden, and God said that the man should be looking after the garden. So the essence of that is that God has put man in charge, so that man has major role in governing the earth. So, and that is what is going on today. What human supposed to do, God will not do that for us.
What human beings are supposed to do,
God will not do that for us. So it's left for us to know the right way to go.
so let God do His own, let
And
man also
man
do
do
His
his own. Yes.
own.
So man is not a robot. So God has created man, and He puts everything that man needed for him to sustain the earth.
Is man doing what he's supposed to do? Is man playing his role?
And that is where the issue is now. Unfortunately, this spirit of dominance, that is wherever anybody is, that is an evil spirit. Every man supposed to be allowed to participate, to partake in God's resources. But unfortunately, the moment somebody gets there, that person will want to dominate, to make sure, to do something in such a way to prevent others. That is selfishness. Selfishness is a sin.
Selfishness is a
It's
sin.
a sin. It's a sin in God's agenda. As a matter of fact, selfishness is the root of all sins. Because it is when somebody is selfish that somebody will be prospering and will not want another person to prosper. However, God has made it in such a way that everybody can enjoy. Everybody can enjoy. You cannot, look at the animal kingdom. Animals, one will not prevent others from doing its own. But unfortunately, man, that is part of the seed of devil into man. That is when man fell in the Garden of Eden. So selfishness is a serious issue, and that is what is affecting the governance in our nation today. But as I say now, we want to let people know that the moment you want to prevent others from enjoying what they are supposed to enjoy, you are not sinning against that man, but you are sinning against God. And that individual will face the wrath of God. Whoever.
How well do our pupils preach this in such a way that it would be able to translate to better society? Every politician is a member of a church or the other. Every person in authority, whether in political sphere, economic sphere, whether in any managerial position, is a member of a church or the other, or maybe of a mosque or the other. Why do we have all of these abnormalities in society despite our religiosity?
Whatever role or whatever status a man attain, man is man. So, I say that that evil spirit of selfishness, because somebody is a pastor, because somebody oversee a church, does not mean that that person is not a man. So, but what we are saying now is that
a man of God is first a man.
Yes, a man of God, stems from being a man. And you know that you don't become a man because you are a pastor. It's because you are a man. It's because you are a man that is human gave rise to being whatever you want to become, be it president or whatever, general overseer, bishop or whatever. And because of that, and that is why that evil, except somebody has the full spirit of God, because somebody is a pastor does not mean that that person cannot sin. So selfishness could be in pastor as well. So that is why if a member of the government is in the church, then the pastor will be praying for him and saying that he's doing well, he's doing well. I think we have seen instances whereby pastors will be granting interview and say that all things are going on well, and you discover that you find those people to be members of those church.
Maybe they don't want to also be fed with the food of affliction.
I think so.
Like it was done in the Bible.
I think so. But
so where is the place of speaking truth to power?
Well, of course, it is important for us to know that whatever we are doing, we will give account. So it is important. But today we still have people of God that are speaking the truth. Yes, we have seen
the speaking truth to power in these days.
Yes,
in this church dispensation.
We still have. We still have. You see, we can see. In fact, we have seen it even in this nation. We've seen the denomination whereby the head of the church will be saying that, you can't use the pulpit. You can't use the pulpit to come and campaign in the church. You know that there's the denomination in the country that will bar people from coming to church to campaign. But however, we have pastors that will even be campaigning for members of the church. And in such an instance, that is selfishness. So it's important that we speak truth. God is truth. Jesus is truth. Anything deviating from that is of the devil.
So what are the dangers now attached to using the pulpit for political campaigns and promotion, using it to promote political candidates? What are the dangers attached to that?
Well, yes, that has a very high multiplier effect.
Okay.
Because people believe in their spiritual leaders these days. But then that will not remove the truth from the fake or the lies. Yes. So, but what we are trying to tell our people is that it's important for them to know that they will give account. In fact, you do know that it's a greater sin for somebody to be using the platform of God to be telling lies. People that did that in the Bible, they didn't escape the judgment of God. And in these days, we want to say that whoever we may be, whatever status we may attain in the society, if you refuse to say or to speak the truth, then God judgment is waiting for such individual, regardless of whoever you are. So, and it's important nowadays, when the moment we say that, that the religious leaders or the moment they say that, okay, this is the way we want you to go, others will want to follow because they believe that, okay, these people, they know God more than them. These people, they hear from God more than them. But unfortunately, some people are saying that, the moment this person gets to the post or to the office, then it will benefit my ministry. That is selfishness, sir. That is selfishness. So whoever is doing that and refuses to speak the truth, the judgment of God is waiting for such individual.
Well, Reverend Dr. Oyemi, I'd like to have your view on something. First Timothy chapter 2, verse 12 says, I do not permit a woman to teach or to assume authority over a man. She must be quiet. What then is the place of women leadership in the church? Just recently, the Church of Canterbury had a new archbishop, a woman, and tongues are wagging. What's your take on that?
Well, this is a topic that is very somehow complex that has generated a lot of discussions over the years. But then, you see, when the letters of Apostle Paul address particular issues that goes on at that particular moment. Now, God is perfect in all he does. Now, look at the animal. Regardless to now today, I think dog is a pet that, that do a lot of this, but dog will not go beyond whatever God has designed for it. Now, God created man, God created woman. If woman will not be able to do that, then the woman will not be able to do it. Then that means that God will design a woman. You should not go beyond this limit. In the scripture, going back to the Old Testament, do you know that before the kingship era among the Israelites, there were judges. Deborah was a woman. Bible says Deborah was a judge in Israel. And when we were referring to a judge, in those days, judge was like a king that people would be coming to. Do you understand? Now, literally, you will see that Deborah was the head of that situation there. Now, if you look through the scripture, especially the letter of Paul, Paul will be addressing particular issue that actually came up at that moment. So now, in that case, if woman will not do that, God will not have given man. There were men then. There were men. Everything that happened, everything that Bible recorded, everything was designed for us to understand. Now, that was in the Old Testament. And coming to the New Testament, Apollo was taught by a woman. Apollo was a co-worker with Paul. And even, if you want to follow this thing, ideally what happened was that, there were some women that, maybe whatever happens in their house, they will now bring that to church in those days, and when there are this issue, that even Apostle Paul said that, women should not talk. They should not even talk at all. Then if we have to follow that instinct, that means that even women should not even sing in the church. Women should not even read. So is it safe
to say that that's a letter not written to us that we are following?
What we are saying is that it's the situation that was going on there.
So it also addressed that situation there.
Addressing that situation.
Addressed to us.
Not everybody. What I'm saying is that does not prevent women.
Very well. You're saying that's a situation during the apostolic moment when Paul had to intervene. It is not our situation.
Now, that is where the leaders have to come in. Okay. We call that pastoral epistle. It was the pastors, so to see to how those things will guide the church. So,
Reverend Dr. Oyemi, I'm asking you because when you also look at the book of Galatians, you find another epistle there talking about there's no distinction between the Jew and the Greek, a woman and a man, and all of that, having different roles and responsibilities. So how do we juxtapose that to really ensure the unity of the body of Christ?
Now, good. In this case, so every leader in the church, and it's important for them, that is the reason, that is more important, that is why we have to go to Bible school. You don't just read Bible and say that, okay, this thing, you know, that there are so many interpretations and things like that. That's the reason why you have to go to Bible school. Going to Bible school is not just reading Bible. But there's some teaching that you have to go there and things like that. Just like somebody that going to university, so somebody, for somebody to have become a medical doctor, you know how many years, then somebody can just stay somewhere and be selling drugs and say that they come and take this, and be saying that it's profiling healing to some people. However, you know there's a difference. So, and in that case, so that is why for every organized church, you don't just put anybody to the helm of affairs. So, and these individuals, we have to look at what situations are going on. And the church that you have just mentioned, you know, these people, they understand Bible very well. They understand Bible very well. So, and in a nutshell, there's nowhere whereby God pronounced that we should not allow women to take part in anything.
Where God
himself.
God, yes, not the apostles.
Yes.
Now let's come to look at something.
Okay.
All right. How well has the United Apostolic Church of Christ been able to also do the issue of raising disciples, raising children of God in the last 60 years without scandal?
Well, United Apostolic Church of Christ, by the grace of God, the church has been that is, we would follow things of God, because even the United,
there are men, there are also women there.
Yes. You know, United Apostolic Church of Christ is Church of Christ. So that is why, you know, it's a denomination that no one can claim that he is the founder of the church. It's Holy Spirit that even inspired our forefathers to start the church. So even it's the Holy Spirit that gave the name. So, and with that, and to the glory of God, for the past 60 years, you will not. You won't find where United Apostolic Church of Christ, any member of the church, even the youth, the adult, will be found in any of these scandals or ill matters. And that's to the glory of God. You know, when you place God above yourself, when you place the will of God above yourself, which all Christians are supposed to do, when you place God above yourself, then you will discover that it is important for you to satisfy God, not man. You know, the problem we're having nowadays is that we want to satisfy men. But why satisfying men? There's no way you want to satisfy men that you will not oppose God. So when you are doing the will of God, then you will be following his tenets. You will be following his rule. You will be following his directions. And the Spirit of God will be guiding you. You don't want to guide yourself. You don't want to do things according to your own instinct, but how God wants it. And by the grace of God, God has been helping United Apostolic Church of Christ. We have members of United Apostolic Church of Christ across the globe.
Across the globe.
By the grace of God.
Okay, Reverend, before you delve into your convention, my area of concern is education. You know, by extension, the church has the mandate to preach the gospel, and one way or the other, using education as a tool for achieving that. The earliest missionary, they did that. And now, in the current dispensation of the church, we've seen churches building schools, infrastructural, educational infrastructures, but it's quite expensive. Is the purpose not defeated? Given the fact that the gospel is free, and at least to some extent, we expect the church to subsidize education, particularly for the members and the poor. What's your take on this?
Well, I think we need to really understand this. You know, nowadays, you can see a lot of comments about church leaders, you know, raising money and things like that. People, you know, when church raise money, and people, they say that, okay, that is not good. And church now build university. And they are saying that church should subsidize university. Excuse me, money will not come from heaven. That is important. Money will not come from heaven. So, and you know nowadays...
But the money came from the sweat and the labor of the church members.
Yes, that is what I'm saying.
And if they cannot afford that kind of education, so what should be left of them?
Now, you know, people just stay elsewhere.
Okay.
And they will just be giving comments, not knowing what concerning the church.
Okay.
Because now, you know, there are some denominations that they even have these universities. Now they are given free education. In fact, we have some people like in our church. We don't have university, but we are planning to have.
Okay.
We don't have a university then, but we are proposing to have university. Even now, when we do not even have university, we give scholarship to people that we are sponsoring in the university, in the existing universities.
Members of your church?
The members of our church. And even people that are not members of our church, that they even come to the church, then they get aid from the church. The church is open to all, and that is it. But everything, don't forget, sir, if we are in this country, you know what it takes even to put up university. You know what it takes. And you know that it's we people, people that are out there that will just be giving comments. You know that some of these, even some of these denominations, do you know that some of them they take loans for them to build this infrastructure.
All right, let's now come to the 60 years of existence of UACC. I do understand that it's not a tea party, raising men, women alike, youth and children in the last 60 years. How are you celebrating the Diamond Jubilee?
Yes, the theme of our Diamond Jubilee is praise.
Praise.
Praise. Because it can only be God. 60 years is not a joke. So it can only be God. By the grace of God, I'm the 4th president of the church.
The fourth.
The fourth president of the church. And by the grace of God, even the church itself is older than myself. So, and when we look back and we see what God has done for us in the United Apostolic Church of Christ, we can see that God is in action. So, and as we, people will be coming from different places across the globe. So within even this convention, there will be free food for people. Convention is open to everybody that comes. So there are so many activities apart from the seminars, prayers, and things like that. So there's an arrangement for people that is we want to give them food, not widows or orphans alone, the less privileged. Anybody that wanted to them. So people of God, there are people of God that are sponsoring this.
Where is that taking place?
Our convention, right? Yes, our convention is taking place at Urugeri, very close to this place, to Osrc, Okeudu, Urugeri. So that is a United Apostolic Church of Christ convention. Right? It's starting today by the grace of God. It's starting today. So, and like I said, so there are volunteers. There are volunteers that have supplied many things, there will be free medicals and a lot of things. So, but the essence of that is to drive people to God. So, believing that it's only with God that you can achieve anything. God, we need God in our society. We need God. So, if you put God aside, then every other thing is zero. So, the essence of this thing is to drive people to God. For the past 60 years, we are able to reach this this stage just because God has been in charge. That is why we termed the theme of our convention to be praise.
Do you have guest ministers coming?
Yes.
To minister?
Yes, by the grace of God. The trustees of the church will be on ground. So all members of the trustees of the church will be on ground. So the general evangelists of the church will be on ground to minister to people. Apart from that, we have other people. Then the representative of Pastor Adiboye, the general overseer of Jim Christian of Church of God, will be on ground also to be part of that. And the Reverend Ayola will be coming from United States of America to be part of it. Then Bishop Henry Price. So that is the prelate of the Church of God in Nigeria, United States. So will be coming to minister as well. Then we have Pastor Alunga, who's also from United States of America. Then Pastor Mrs. Adiola. So we have women. So Pastor Mrs. Adiola will be coming from United Kingdom. Coming from United Kingdom. So by the grace of God, then we have many ministers. No. So the Bible did not say that we should stop women from performing.
Are there gospel musicians also coming to minister?
Yes. Gospel musicians are coming. Then Remilekun Amos will be coming to minister. Then Ajuba Jason will be coming to minister. Olorun Usobe, that is Evangelist Elijah Akintunde Awukoji will become the Emirate Choir. Emirate Choir will be featured there as well.
We wish you a very beautiful Diamond celebration, and of course, our prayers are also with you, just as yours are also with us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Reverend Dr. Bayo Oyeni. Thank you so much. He is the President and General Overseer of the United Apostolic Church of Christ, USCC, the 4th President.
Yes.
It's so interesting that in 60 years, we've just had 4.
Yes.
It tells of the leadership strategy of the church, no rancor, no agreement.
By the grace of God.
Thank you very much for coming. We
God
wish you the
bless
very
you.
best. in
Thank you so
your
much.
Everyone,
Thank you, sir.
thank you for being a part of it today this morning. It's been a wonderful conversation centering around the fiber of development in Nigeria, religion, cybersecurity, and every other thing. Thank you for being a part of it. From my colleague, Alex.
Yes, thank you so much for being a part of the show, like Sunday said. We return next week with another exciting edition. Do join us then. But don't forget the conversation continue on all our social media platforms. Like, subscribe, follow to get the conversation going. Thank you so much. Alex Adejo is my name. See you next week.
All right, I'm Sunday Kolawole, wishing you the very best of the week. Good morning.
Thank you.